Yes, I am going to share my screen during my session.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 5 minutes past 7. So I think we'll start while the others join and catch up with us. I hope you can all hear me. Um, Good evening to everyone and welcome to today's webinar on the topic AI for everyday productivity. On behalf of ISEC Cameroon, I am delighted to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for taking out time to join us for what promises to be an insightful and practical session. I am Marilyn Gemukum, the National Coordinator of ISEC Cameroon. ISEC Cameroon, which is International Student Environmental Coalition, is committed to empowering young people through environmental education, leadership, development, innovation, and sustainable solutions. As technology continues to shape the way we live and work, understanding AI has become an essential skill for students, professionals, entrepreneurs, and young leaders. Today's webinar is designed to help each and everyone to understand what artificial intelligence is all about, and more importantly, how you can use it responsibly and effectively in everyday life. So before we begin our session, I would like to set some ground rules. Kindly switch off your mics. Mute your mic unless you are invited to speak on. Before you speak, please raise your hand. You use the emoji, a hand raise, and you'll be called upon to speak. Do feel free to ask your question in the chat box throughout the session. Please remain respectful and professional during discussions. We encourage everyone to stay till the end for the question and answer session. So we are excited to have two knowledgeable speakers, both from ISEC Cameroon, who will guide us through the fundamental and practical application of artificial intelligence. Without much waste of time, we are going to dive into our first session, which is understanding what AI is all about. In this session, we will explore what artificial intelligence is, how it works, AI tools we already use every day, the strengths and limitations of AI, data privacy, AI mistakes, and responsible use. So it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Miss Atu Cecile B, who is a Cameroonian environmental and developmental professional with a master's in climate change, biodiversity, and ecosystem. She has a 4 years experience in environmental research, community development, and youth engagement. She also served as the vice president of the repair cohort 11 under New Center. She is an active user of AI in her professional work. She leverages it to develop research, proposals, project document, CV, and advocacy material. Today, she will share with us a practical insight on how AI can enhance productivity and create new opportunities for Africans. So please warmly welcome Miss Atu Cecile. Cecile, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Marilyn. Good evening to everybody. Let me see how. Let me share my screen. Yes, the share. Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I hope we are all great. So my name is Atud Yvette Cecile B. And thank you, Marilyn, for that introduction. Okay. I'm going to be doing session one or part one of this presentation. That's really the theory part, the theoretical part. My partner and colleague is going to do the practical part. We shared it because I am a little bit busy now, so the practicality needs some more commitment. So we are going to be understanding what artificial intelligence really is. I was so happy to see that there are many people who I was happy. Yes, normally I'm not supposed to be happy, but I was happy to see that there's many people who still do not know what artificial intelligence is. It means that from now henceforth you're going to understand clearly what artificial intelligence is. Okay, let me put it in the presentation mode. Okay, so we're going to do like foundations before the hype, where AI came from, how it actually works, and where it already lives in your daily life. So I'm going to start with a trendy music that I love, and you just listen. It's just 42 seconds. I got it from TikTok, so no copyrights is needed. Okay, okay, just 42 seconds. Please reduce your volume. So, oops, what's this? Okay. Tic-tac, le temps il passe, je ne nous attends pas. La vie c'est pas contre les ailes, pas de seconde chance, quand on en baiser. La vie c'est pas contre les ailes, ici pas de bobinage. La vie c'est pas contre les ailes, pas de seconde chance comme dans des déserts. La vie c'est pas contre les ailes, pas de boule de cristal comme dans des déserts. Udam Raleigh. Udam Raleigh. Okay, are we still there? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we are, Miss Cecile. We can hear you.
Okay, so this is an artist that is, for those who listen to this kind of music, is trending now. And why I chose this particular example is what I want to demystify today. If you get to whatever platform where this particular artist song, his name is Babal PNG. If you get to any of his, whether it's on Facebook or even on YouTube, there is a comment that keeps coming up, and it comes up in a very derogatory way. They keep saying, "Oh, it's AI, it's AI, it's AI," and if you are somebody who thinks that in 2026 they're using, excuse me, they're using artificial intelligence to raise your work or to improve on the quality of your work in 2026, you should begin to understand that you're behind. So in 2026, using artificial intelligence is not a problem, first and foremost. So that's why I wanted to start with this. It is absolutely not wrong. And Towards the end of my presentation, you're going to see. So what are we going to cover? We're going to cover the origins, and before I continue, I want to say that this presentation was done with the assistance of artificial intelligence, and the tool I used was Claude. What we'll cover is origins and definition, generative AI breakthrough, mechanics, value, limits, and ethics, and how for you to see that AI is already around you. With the forms you filled, I saw there were people who were born in the 70s and so on. I want to, before I leave here, before I take the next slide, I want to tell you a little story. In the early 2000s, I was still in primary school. I was living with a cousin, and she was at the University of Yaoundé 1. And I remember vividly that she always used to talk about a pass to go to the library, a paper, I don't know, it was a paper. And one day she forgot her pass, and she had to, we were staying at Etukebe, she had to trek from Waikele to come and collect her pass to go do her research at the library in Waikele. That's the University of Yaoundé 1. And at that time, she was doing a matrice. It was not yet the LMD system. Today, I have 2 masters, and I have never sat in the library. But I'm very sure I have read more articles than my big cousin at the time. That tells you that it is very possible that we are already using AI. And if you look at my next slide, you understand here that it starts right back from the 1950s. So there is a whole system that is being built or built. A whole system that is being built from the 1950s, where programmers hand wrote explicit, they say there here that the if this then that logic. We see the law in mathematics, and I'm not a mathematics person. And then from the 90s, we get into machine learning, where from data, instead of following fixed paths, fixed rules, we have spam feed recommendation engines. And then from 2010 to 2018, we have the deep learning. These are neural networks that were trained on massive data sets, unlocked image recognition, translation, and speech. Most of us, we started really using internet in this era. We started knowing about the Google Translate. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to call. I was not supposed to do that, but let me just say it so for us to understand. We started using Bing, Google Translate, Google Maps, and all of those. We were feeding information into those data sets. Don't forget that starts from the 1950s. And then from 2019 to today, we have what is called the generative AI. Meaning that we are actually just benefiting from all of information that has been that was put in from the 1950s to now. And then of course we are still feeding it. And as technology is going on and the tech guys are working on codes and stuff like that, the generative AI the generative system is becoming more and more efficient. So basically this is how we live from pre-AI era, that's 2019, to today, the AI era. Okay, so what is AI actually? These are computer algorithms trained on large data sets to recognize patterns, process natural language and generate original content. Do not forget that in our previous slide, we spoke about data sets starting from the 1950s. So we have been actually feeding these data sets, these algorithms, since the 1950s. And you can imagine the tone of information that was already stocked. And then we have now AI, which is able to quickly analyze, quickly, produce what we want, be very specific, etc., etc. That's what AI is. And we have it subdivided here. You have pattern recognition. For example, you find statistical regularities across huge volumes of data. For example, today, you don't need to be too good in calculations, for example, naturally or etc. I want to say this with a lot of reserve. But for example, when I'm using Excel today, and we know many of us do not, many people are not very comfortable with Excel. But there are AIs that are really integrated in Excel today, such that you don't need to be an Excel expert, or what do I say, an Excel specialist to be able to analyze your data. So you see, yourself, you can train yourself using AI to become good at maybe using Excel. And then you have natural language processing. Sorry, it reads, interprets, and responds to human language. Back in 2023, when I was doing my masters, at that time it was Chat AI that was very, very, very popular. And I think that was the period when Elon Musk decided to invest into it, etc. I remember our supervisor just came one day and said, if you know you have Chat, just delete it. And we were scared of what of the type of results, because we felt like, oh, it's cheating, it's plagiarism, etc. But there are AI tools today. Reeves is going to talk about that. There are AI tools today that you don't need to be reading 100, 200, 300 articles before you select which one is good for your research. For example, I'm going to be talking a lot about research because that's really what I do. Or research. You don't need to read 300 articles before you. There are tools today which summarizes. First of all, they make a careful selection. Depending on how you prompt, they make a careful selection of articles. You just need to verify that those articles truly exist, and that's what we are going to talk about, ethics. And then you put them in and you say, okay, I want a summary of this. I want you to bring out maybe the objective, the methodology, the results, and the discussion, or you just want to get the abstracts clearly without reading tons and tons and tons. And if you have been somebody who is being into research, you will find yourself that before AI, that's what I used to do. I would download articles, then I read the article and discover there is really nothing here. That's waste of time, and that's waste of energy. And that's what AI is here to reduce, actually. And then for those who are into coding, who are into content creation, etc., we see most of the content we are consuming in 2026 is generated by AI. Even MTN, that's just to tell you how it's taking over, and we need to brace up and follow the trend. Else, you'll be left behind and you'll be unfortunate. So now we are going to be talking about large language models, and this is just, okay, for example, it says give a prompt and it can generate original output across formats. It was prompting. So you want something specific. I remember when you wanted to search on a search engine. Yes, I don't want to be using a search engine is things like Google, Firefox, and those things. You sometimes go and when you type something, it just gives you so many haphazard stuff, and then you're the one who needs to be clicking and saying, oh, this one is not correct, oh, this one. Whereas when you are able to prompt correctly, it generates the original output across formats. It has never explicitly programmed to produce. That's what we call that's how AI became very famous. And my side note here says, from a single human language prompt, one model can move across formats. And of course, I just told you about text. Text is research. Those who are into research, those who are doing CV writing. I saw somebody saying he wants to know whether he can use AI to do SOPs and CVs and those kind of stuff. Of course you can. And AI does. Of course, you need to master or understand prompting, and you need to understand prompting, and also you need to be honest and ethical. If the application I'm already getting into ethics now. Let me focus on this. So, you can generate text, you can generate quotes, little bit of social media. Many of those videos come up. Many Christian songs. There's this song. There's even a gospel artist that is AI, and she's making it is making millions of views on YouTube. Millions of views. So that's how you can use AI. For the person who said she wanted to use AI for income. Okay, so this is now the mechanics, how it works. Very simple. You provide a human text, a question, instruction, or partial sentence. But what I would always recommend is really be as specific as possible. One of my mentors said, garbage in, garbage out. If you go and tell AI, I want to boil rice, you don't tell him if you're boiling basmati rice. You don't tell him you're boiling 1 kilo of basmati rice or 1 kilo of dog rice on medium heat. You would get rubbish. If you don't tell AI, I want to make a carrot cake, and I have 1 kilogram of flour. That means if you are not as specific as possible, you are not going to have the excellent results. And so if somebody is able, like Baba, like the musician I just put at the beginning of the session, if you're able to use AI as good as it said that he uses, to the point that he's producing excellent music that's producing him thousands of views over 2 weeks, it means he is extremely good at prompting, and he has clearly understood what AI is all about. Your prompt is your gateway into AI. You don't go to AI and say, where is no? Those things we used to do on Google, on search engines, sorry, on the other search engines. You are as specific as possible. Don't forget, we said it comes from thousands of data, from decades of data sets. So what AI does is that it brings it to the simplest form, the way you want it. So garbage in, garbage out. And that's why it's easy to see some text and be like, gosh, this is AI. But normally using AI in 2026 should never be a reason of shame. So let's go to the second one, which is the pattern search. And then the sequence prediction. It calculates most statistically probable next word repeatedly. And then you have the generated output. So everything flows, but everything starts from your prompt. And that's why I've spent 2 or 3 minutes talking about prompts. Hello, are we following? Hello. Are we following?
Yes, I think we are.
Hello.
Yes, we are following.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay, now let's talk about where AI delivers real value. That is where you can really use AI efficiently with to have very good results, like where AI brings in much value, as the word says. It summarizes dense documents. I just spoke to you about the fact that you do not need to read, for those who are into research, you do not need to be like what we did in the 2023, where you read article by article because you just want one element. There are tools today that summarize, they summarize journals even, and they bring you exactly what you need to include in your documents. You don't need to stress about that again. You can get a big 1,000-page report, and then you just tell AI, I want this element, and it's going to bring it out, and it's going to give you the reference, etc. Summarizes things, the brainstorming, very important with my Meta AI on my WhatsApp. I hope you all know that you have AI on your WhatsApp. It's an amazing tool to use for brainstorming. I use it a lot when I'm brainstorming. Sometimes when I'm at a conference or somebody says something that I don't really get, I just go to Meta AI and like, okay, I just got that means it brings up ideas. And recently I was able to let me give you short stories, because all of this is practical work. If you use it practically, you see. So with ISEC, one of the things we do at ISEC is environmental education. And recently we started planting school gardens with recycled material. So we will take car tires, plastic bottles, and then we teach children to plant either whatever spice or vegetable, just to make them understand the importance of having a little garden around. And then I went for a training on local governance, and we were asked to propose projects that may get some funding. So we were trained local governance, how council work, and those kind of things. And I wanted my project to reflect who I am. That is an environmentalist. That is the work I do with ISEC. And then I just put in the thing like, I work like this, like this, like this, and we have received this kind of training. And boom, it found the interconnection. I'm talking of Meta AI. Meta AI that is on your WhatsApp. It's Meta AI that gave me the idea that you can teach children to plant, and then you write a petition. They write a petition that they sign, and we go and deposit it at the local council of their area, and request that every school in their area should have an ecological garden. And I got the funding. Brainstorming, use Meta AI to brainstorm. It's excellent for brainstorming. This is tested and approved. Now, drafting communications quickly. When Marilyn was presenting me or giving my biography, she said I was repair cohort 11 vice president. I want to tell you that when we sat for the debate, because we had a debate with the other candidates, as they were asking the questions, right? It's not that you don't know what to say, but it helps you to structure your communication, to give you that way that you follow. As they were asking us questions and we were brainstorming, I was on my Meta AI as usual, like this. How do I structure my speech, etc. And it did that for me. Same thing when we went for us to pitch a project in Boya for MTN Next Level. We didn't make it, but I want to tell you that 3/4 of my communication, how I had to prepare my work, was done using Meta AI. Because sometimes it's good that you have something that directs you, these are skills today that people pay for public speaking, etc. But you learn it with AI, and it's very efficient. And then it organizes raw data. Those who are into data analysis, I will not say much about it, but I already said that there are tools that are integrated on Excel, or if you're using what other tools there, if you're doing Python and those kind of things, you can integrate AI into those, and it will help you for organizing your raw data. Okay, now this is the part that we need to really talk about. No human judgment. And somebody said she wants to know how to humanize AI. For me, that's just wanting to. It's like you want to whiten black, or you want to blacken white. Those are two different things, and they should not be put together. AI is AI, and artificial intelligence, and human intelligence is human intelligence. Whether you like it or not, there is absolutely for me no link between wanting to humanize AI and so on and so forth. Use AI, use artificial intelligence to enhance human intelligence. And when you see work that has been done with human intelligence or human judgment. You feel it because humans have emotions. This is a machine. These are codes. You see, they don't have feelings. They don't have emotions. You cannot. They don't have judgment exactly as it says. No human judgment. The only way for you to humanize artificial intelligence, I'm saying humanize in quotes, is to take what artificial intelligence has given you and give what God gave you as human intelligence and then try to use that together. Hallucinations. Simple case of hallucination. I've been using one of the tools. I've been using one of the tools. It's very hard to talk about this without calling the name that we use. Tools for writing since last year, December. And there are days that it does not even remember the date of that date. For example, you wake up and it says, "Hi Cecile," and then you go to your and then it starts telling you about things of the 27th or the 28th of July, and today we are on the 30th. Today is the 30th of July. So AI has a lot of incorrect statements and unwarranted conflict. A lot. That is why when you're working with AI, I always say that for you to efficiently use AI, you should also have a certain degree of intelligence. And luckily, God bless all of us with intelligence. Do not just take AI and work like this. Copy and paste. Please do not do so. Do not do that. Else that derogatory way of saying that you have used AI immediately takes place. And then, very important point, AI relies exclusively on you. That is why whatever thing you are prompting, if you do not prompt well, my mentor said garbage in, garbage out. If you go and tell AI some kind of funny things, it will always give you funny things. So you should know that AI relies on you. AI relies on your ability to ask him to go to the extremes to get information that you need, correct information. Basically, these are the limitations of AI. And now we are going to talk about the ethical use of AI. I'm talking now particularly there are a few people who were like, can we use AI for our research? Can we? Yes, I use AI for my research. I use AI, I draft people's CVs with AI. I use I'm a Christian, so I use AI. Somebody said, what is the AI has nothing to do with religion. AI is not diabolical. It's just like the internet. Whatever thing you decide to make use of it is exactly what the algorithm is going to give you. If you're somebody who likes listening to motivation, if you notice, it's very obvious. If you're somebody who likes to listen to motivational work, or you like to listen to who is this man of God? I don't know. If you're someone who likes to listen to a man of God or a pastor and so on, if you listen to if you watch 2, 3, or 4 of his videos, you'll find out that those videos will keep coming. They'll keep proposing to you those kind of things. So there is absolutely no risk using AI as a Christian or as a Muslim or whatever religion you identify with. To my friend who was asking if he can use AI for research, if you notice at the beginning, I spoke about transparency. I said it is AI that helped me to prepare this PowerPoint. Transparency. Disclose when AI assisted your work. Never misrepresent AI generated output as entirely your own. That is actually where the problem lies. We use AI and we do not want to accept that we use AI, thinking that using AI makes you, I don't know. If you use AI, it's absolutely nothing wrong. When you even apply for some grants today, you apply for some they permit you to use AI. There are some organizations which permit you to use AI, and of course there are those who refuse and completely against using AI when applying for forms, etc., etc. So if you fall on that kind of situation, make sure you follow the instructions that were given to you. Human accountability. You remain responsible for the accuracy, quality, and consequences of anything you publish or send. We are holding a workshop today at 7, I don't know what time, 7 to 8:30. If you decide to go and post using AI, because yes, AI, you can generate your post for your social media stuff. If you go and post there that it's 9 p.m., it was at 9 p.m. that we held the workshop because you used AI to generate it. That's your responsibility. And you have to bear the consequences, which is people coming to tell you your information is not credible. So you should make sure that your information is credible. And it's very easy to check. When you get fact check, when you get information from AI, always go through it. Don't copy and paste. When you get information from AI, go through, check, is this true, and so on and so forth. Because of course, AI hallucinates. Never input confidential, personal, or proprietary information into public AI tools. Into public AI tools. They are public AI tools. Don't want to put your pictures there, and so on and so forth. Probably this is where, for somebody who is a Christian, you can be afraid. But if you're using it privately, you are it's okay. Bias and fairness. Outputs can mirror biases in training data. Yes, outputs can. I've particularly witnessed this, especially when it came to talking about talking about the LGBT, the many alphabet people. Yeah, sometimes it's biased. It doesn't want to follow. It doesn't want to follow your school of thought. And so on and so forth. I don't want to talk much about that. But it's probably because, and that's where we as Africans we should wake up. Most of the AI stuff, the AI center is found in the US, and so. So we're almost getting there. AI hiding in plain sight. So in your smartphone, you have this thing that says predictive test. What's a predictive test? As you're typing, if you want to type I am, and then you see coming, that's a predictive text. That's AI. Autocorrect, adaptive battery management, that's AI. And then email spam filtering, unwanted, you in your communication tools, automated categorization, and so on and so forth. That's how you can have AI. That's AI. So you're already using AI. I just want people to know that you're using AI. This WhatsApp and all those things, they are already integrated. Somebody said something one day that he doesn't understand why when he thinks about let's say Achu in Yaoundé, and he just checks maybe one or two he just checks one or two Achu spots in Yaoundé, and you just see Achu being recommended to you, even on Google, even for your Google Maps, you start seeing things from Achu and so on. That's AI. So in the apps you use every day, Meta AI, I've spoken about Meta AI. You have WhatsApp. If you have WhatsApp, if just know you have Meta AI, and you can start using Meta AI. If you're not very comfortable, you can start using AI. Traffic forecasting, navigation, and so on. Climate forecasting, visual recognition systems. We use them a lot in the airports, etc. So what are our key takeaways for this presentation? Is that AI is a pattern recognition and prediction at scale. I want people to note the remaining part across text, code, images, and audio. It accelerates. These are the advantages of using AI. It accelerates drafting, summarizing, and organizing work. But every output still needs your review. Very important. Responsible use means transparency, accountability, privacy, and vigilance against bias. It already runs quietly inside your phone, inbox, maps, messaging apps. So please, integrate it like the new, I want to say the new revolution. I don't know if it's a tech revolution or whatever, but today using AI and being able to use AI to scale up your work, honestly, should be what everybody should be get striving or moving towards. I just hope that after this presentation, we are going to stop seeing every good work as being able to use AI to attain a certain level of exceptionalism. Honestly, it's a lot of work. It still takes a lot of work, a lot of brainstorming, and you should be very proud of using AI because you want perfection. That's all what we all want. If you want perfect work, you want good work, not perfect because nobody is perfect. You want very good work, you want outstanding work. It means you should use AI if that's it. But don't forget, please do not forget the ethics behind AI. Be transparent. Say I used AI. It is totally okay. I used AI. Be accountable. Verify. Fact check. Those are just what makes us not to be able to use AI conveniently. I think I came to the end of my presentation and I'll be open for questions. I don't know how you really intend to do that.
Okay. Cecile, thank you very much for that informative presentation. I hope everyone now has clearer understanding what AI is and how we encounter it in our daily lives, how to use it responsibly to do our work in a better way, not perfect, as Cecile said, in a better way. As for the questions, just leave your questions in the chat. We are going to have a question and answer session at the end. So please just drop your questions in the chat box. We are now going to move to our second session where we are going to shift from understanding artificial intelligence to putting it into practice. In this session, the speaker is going to demonstrate practical AI workflows that can help us become more productive in our studies, in our careers, in our businesses, and everyday tasks. So, at this moment, I would like to introduce the second speaker, who is an environmental engineer who graduated from public works and a dedicated volunteer of ISEC Cameroon. He's passionate about youth empowerment and the practical application of technology to solve everyday challenges. Today, he will guide us through hands-on AI workflow that can enhance productivity, improve academic performance, strengthen academic career development, and make daily tasks more efficient. So join me, welcome Reed Talu. Reeves, you welcome, you have the floor. Is he there?
Okay, thank you very much, Mary Lynn, for giving me the floor. Please, a moment while I set up my. Okay, thank you very much, Mary Lynn, for giving me the floor. I hope you're getting me.
Yes, we can get you, Reeves.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor, and thank you for all those that took out their time to attend this session. And I really hope that by the end of the session, everyone is going to return from here satisfied with a better view of what AI really is and how they can leverage it to improve their daily activities. So I'll be presenting on using on the practical use of. Thank you, first of all, to Cecile for that brilliant introduction that gave us really the perspective on the use of AI in our day and age. Because as we know, as she said it rightly, using AI in 2026 to improve your work should not be seen as a problem at all. So in this session, we are going to focus more on the practical uses, use it for writing, reading, and communication. By communication, I mean the various categories of communication. It can be visual communication, that is mostly through social media, and text communication. And so we are going to set the base. We are going to start by looking at an important topic, prompting. I don't know, when you look at this image, what comes to mind? Anyone in the chat? Is it familiar?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and there is a next image. So we have left from a fabric to an attire. Actually, this fabric is a traditional fabric in Cameroon, the northwest region specifically. So why am I using this fabric? Why am I using this image? I can say there are a select number of experts that have the expertise in producing cloths or producing these designs and making cloths out of them. But what happens is they won't just do it out of leisure because it is something that needs time and money. So what happens is maybe you're planning your wedding, so you go meet the expert, you explain what you want, and both of you agree on his demands and agree on the price, and then he gets your work done and we can have the dress that you desire. So that's you meeting the expert and giving him a prompt as per what you need and him producing the results. So that is basically what prompting is all about. AI is just like a jack of all trades. He knows, in this case, it's a jack of all trades that knows almost everything perfectly. So it is an expert in almost all domains. But so that means for you to get the exact result that you want, you need to really situate AI in a specific direction so that you can get the specific response that you desire. So we are going to look at some components of what a good prompt should contain. First of all, a good prompt should contain, that is you providing as much information to the artificial intelligence on what is it that you intend to obtain as a result, or what is the context in which you are working. So for the example I've given here, she's telling AI, I am a fresh graduate environmental engineer applying for an entry role. So I've made specific the context in which we are communicating. Then the next component is a task where the user has to clearly state what AI should do for him or her. So you should not just give AI vague tasks, because as I mentioned earlier, it is a jack of all trades. If you give it a vague task, a vague ask, it is going to give you a vague answer as well. So what you have to do is state clearly what is it that you want it to achieve. And it is going to source all the information that it has gathered over the years. As someone said it rightly, AI has read as many books online as that even with a vast content knowledge, you need now to specify what do you want me to do with these instructions that you're giving me. Then you proceed now by what is the output type or what is the format of the response that you want. As Cecile spoke rightly in the introduction, AI can generate text, AI can generate an image, AI can generate videos, AI can generate audios, and so on. So you have to precise which type of output do you want. And if it is text, maybe precise how do you want AI to format the text. You can precise to even a least possible detail level, precising even the font size. There are tools that permit you to do that. Like the example given here, I want my output to be 3 paragraphs maximum. Place them in bullet points for the key achievements. So that helps AI to better present your work so that you can easily work from there and modify it according to your preference. Then you should also precise the tone and the style. That is, maybe you're writing for a professional setting, maybe you're sending a message in a class group chat. The tones in those two contexts are going to be different. So you can precise that, and also the complexity level. For example, you may find it difficult to understand a certain thematic. That is where you could say, I explain this to me as if I were a 6-year-old. Then AI is going to break it down into the simplest words that a 6-year-old can easily understand. The example given here, you can ask AI to use a professional tone, confident, polite, depending on those are examples depending on the context in which you want to use the output for. Then another very important component of a good prompt is sometimes you may need to include some constraints and rules. So this is you setting boundaries to the limit, the boundaries within which AI is going to work, so that it refines the response you're going to obtain. Maybe you're filling a Google form online in a bio section of 500 words, and you have a lot of experience, but you have to limit it. This is my profile. Help me arrange this. Select the most important ones that suit this position and present it in 500, in not beyond your maximum 500 words, and it helps you do that. In you won't need to spend a lot of time brainstorming on that anymore. And here is, to put that into practice, here is an example of what a bad prompt will look like and an example of what a good prompt will look like. A bad prompt could say something like, brainstorm ideas for promoting my web design services on Instagram. We see that this is lacking a context. What comes out clearly there is only the task. Brainstorm ideas for my web design services on Instagram. It is only the task. The other components are lacking, and AI is going to give you a very generic response. Let us look at the good prompt. The good prompt says, it first of all presents the context. I am a freelance web designer looking to attract more small business clients through Instagram. There, the context is well presented. Then it proceeds by the task. Brainstorm 30 days of creative content. We see how this task is more specific according to what he wants to achieve. Brainstorm 30 days of creative content ideas to promote my services. Then now we see the formatting that I want the response in. I'm asking AI to present the ideas in a table showing the content type, a catchy hook, and a short description. This is so that maybe on developing now the ideas, it is easy for him to know which idea is for which day. These are the things that I can integrate, and it is easy to work from there. Then we see now the precision of the tone and style. Keep the tone engaging and professional, so that the person does not pass on as maybe a joker to his audience or someone who is unserious. Then we see now include a mix of educational and promotional posts and avoid repeating ideas. So that is the user giving AI some constraints to follow. Don't just give me one type of idea. All the posts are just about promoting my business. You said it should be some should be educational, some should be promotional. Then avoid repeating ideas so that the content does not become boring to the user. So that is a practical application of what a good prompt is looks like and what a bad prompt looks like. Another important thing to note when writing prompts is my camera was on. Another important point when writing prompts is how we phrase the prompts that we give the instructions that we give AI. We can phrase in a direct manner. That is you telling AI exactly what you want. Summarize this article in 3 bullet points. What it's going to do is it's going to summarize the pasted text into those 3 points. Maybe you want to explore various dimensions of a given topic. So instead of just saying, give me or develop this topic for me, you will say X, you are announcing the audience you're targeting. Then you have persona prompts. Here you are giving AI a role. Like the example used here. You are an instructional designer. How would you develop? Why it is important to give AI something so as to its bring out its full knowledge in that specific domain. So it is no more looking for the information brought in a broad from its broad library, but is looking in that specific domain for attributed you to achieve what you want. So the more intentional you are with the way you phrase your prompts, they obtain from your prompts. Then here are some practical tips you could use on a daily basis. And one really important, write the answers that you really want at the first prompt. So that is why it is good for best results, you need to send in the first prompts. It gives you the result. You fine tune by sending in follow up prompts. Maybe you're trying to generate a particular image. After the image is generated, if it is not really what you want, or there are some elements that are present that you may not like to find there, you can have some follow up instructions. Remove this, change the lighting, change the position of the main character, and so on. So all of these are necessary. All of these are how you can. So all of these are how you can better prompt AI to get the best results that it can produce for you. So we are done for this first part. In the next part now, we are going to really be seeing how we can interact with AI now for its practical applications, really academics, maybe in our entrepreneurship journey, whatever we are interested in. So we are going to look at here. We are basically going to be looking at examples. Here we are looking at examples in writing and communication workflows from the responses a lot of you gave in the Google form. Most of you were students, undergraduates, postgraduates, and had stuff that were also related to education. That is people searching for jobs and entrepreneurs. All of those are stuff that require writing and communication. So the first scenario, you have messy scattered thoughts or rough notes or a letter or a social media post or to share on LinkedIn. So here is what, please excuse me a moment. Okay. So here is what the user gives AI. Hey, couldn't make the meeting today. Internet was down. Send me the presentation slides and let me know when we are meeting next week. And the prompt is rewrite this note into a polite, professional email to my supervisor. You see, the person mentions the supervisor. You see that if such a message is sent to such a person who is high in rank, that will be considered as a blatant disrespect. So the person has asked AI is that the subject's apology of, for absence for today's meeting. And these are called MTICs. Yeah. So I always remove them when I for my AI generated responses because once I see this, it just strikes to me that this was an AI generated content and I move it. It depends on your personal preference. You need to always check the responses and you correct them according to the specific context or the perspective, the person it is referring to. Dear Dad, please accept my apologies for missing today's meeting due to an unexpected internet outage. Could you kindly share the presentation slides when available? Please let me know. We see how AI has refined
Please let us give some time to Mr. Rift to adjust his network.
Enfants, and Tehila, feel a treasure. This is their church.
While waiting for Mr. Rift to join in again, are there any questions for our first presenter, Miss Cecile? If you have any question for the first presentation, you can just go on and ask or put it in the chat box and it will be read so that she can answer them while we wait for Mr. Reeves.
UEFA and FIFA are currently fighting about this new proposal to
I think, Ceci, there's a question in the chat.
Yes. I just read it. How do you use Claude AI? Um, I think that was what Mr. Reese was presenting on, clearly how to prompt, because Claude, I use Claude a lot for writing. Claude is really good when you're writing, when you're doing writing stuff, and when you're also into some research to a certain level. How do you use it? As Reeves was talking about prompting, you need to have a context. You need to be precise, to say as much as possible what you require, and you should also note that the first prompt will not necessarily give you the exact results. So it's very important that when you have the first result that you get from the prompt, you go through it and then you request for more of it again. Of course, most times we use the free versions, and sometimes there are limits. There are limits to it, but it's okay. If you have a, generally they give you limits depending on how you push the, or how you use the, it's something called tokens. Depending on how you use your AI, they can, like they stop you at 12 and they tell you you start again at 3. So you just need to continuously use it like so. Depends also on what you're using AI Claude for, depending on what you're using Claude for. So I use Claude when I'm doing CVs. What I do is you come with your base CV, like what your basic information you give me, and then you tell me the kind of CV or the kind of opportunity you're applying for, because of course CVs have to be according to job description and according to the target, who is the target. An academic CV is not the same as a job CV, etc. So we get to the job description, and I actually upload these things, even though it's called artifacts and it takes away lots of your tokens. But I prefer to do it that way, and then I use the format depending also on what is required, because all of this, as Reeves was telling you, you have to make sure that you contextualize as much as possible. If you don't contextualize, you will not have the results. And the first prompt you get is never going to be the final result. You still have to retry again and again and again. And then when you finally get what artificial intelligence can give you at its finest, you take it and then you work on it with your human intelligence. When we're talking about personal, we spoke about public AIs. There are public AI tools. Even your social media, there are things that you are not to post on social media, for example. That's what we're talking about. But this is the AI I'm using, that is I downloaded, I subscribed with my Gmail, with my email account. It's not a public AI account. It's not a public AI account. There are AI tools that one or two or three or four people can use together. That's what we're talking about. Maybe it's for your private AI tool. You upload pictures, you upload designs. When you want to create an image, for example, using Gemini, or when you want to use, because ChatGPT to create images. If you want to create images using ChatGPT, for example, you have your base picture that you took with your phone. You want to improve the lighting. Many people do it on social media. I see it a lot on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile, I think my LinkedIn profile now, the picture there was enhanced using AI. So what I did was I took a normal picture and I thought it was a little bit flu. I thought it was a little bit very flu. So I gave ChatGPT and said, give it a studio quality lighting. There are some technicalities that you add there and so on and so forth when you're prompting. And it gave me a very beautiful professional picture, and that's what I have on my LinkedIn profile. So when we talk about privacy, we're not talking about private use AI, but the public ones or the ones that you share with other people. Another question, I'm not seeing this. Question was about, okay, how to have a good prompt. Okay. The difference between free version code and the no, the free version is the free version limits you. The free version limits you, and the options that you use. If you, I don't know if you have Claude, but if you open Claude, there are some things like sonnet, haiku, depending on the quality of work that you want to obtain. This is Randy, right? Yeah, Randy. I'm responding to Randy.
Maybe I could also say something about that if I'm permitted.
Yeah,
Okay, the
yeah.
difference between Claude, the paid version and the and the free version is that the models that are available to you when you're using a paid version, they are more powerful than the free version, because if you open, there are different models. If you're using Claude, you see different models there. And and if you generate, maybe if you use a model for a particular task, you see the difference in the power of their models. So the models, they are very important. And I also think that another thing is, if you're using the free version, it's like there's a limit. Like Ceci was saying that you've used all your tokens. So they give you tokens daily. And if you do a lot of work in the morning, you probably exceed that token. But with the paid version, you can use it all through. And also, and another thing is, if you're using the paid version, the amount of documents you can upload on let's say ChatGPT, if you're using a paid version of ChatGPT, there's no limit to the amount of documents you can upload. But you're using a free version, I think when you upload just 4 documents, you do a task with 4 documents, you cannot upload again. Or you generate a certain amount of images a day, it also limits that. It's the same with Claude. Claude is very powerful. And I think also is like, there's something, there's history, there's like your the history that you use, like what you're doing. So you can have a project, you can continue the chatting, and you're working on a particular project with a particular AI tool, for example, Claude. If you're on a free version, if you're on a paid version, you can actually go out and continue the next day. But we're on a free version, it doesn't save the memory, right? So that, I think that's the most important thing. You can save your memory on the paid version. So you can continue to whatever time that, and that's important for someone who is doing, you're working on particular different projects. Like on the paid version of Claude, you can have different projects that you're working on, and you can want to continue later, and then you want to reference it and all those kind of things. So I think that that's the basic idea. And one thing that is common with that's a big problem with AI is that when you start using the paid version, you become so dependent on it that going back to the free version, it becomes a serious challenge. So that's something that you think about when you want to subscribe to a paid version. But I think when you use a paid version, you might not like going back to the free version. That's why, and that's why people keep using these services, and the companies keep making money, and it keeps going like that.
I was just checking, and I wanted to just share my screen so that you see my clothes. I don't know if it's possible. Here, let me show you something. So Claude knows me already. So you see, this is what we are talking about, the models. So if you want to use Fable and Opus, for example, to, you see what it says. It says for your toughest challenges or for complex tasks. This you have to pay before you're able to use this. Whereas this one, the Sonnet 5 and the Haiku, they are free and so on. So basically that's it. That's where you have the free versions. Okay. don't know what's happening with Wix.
I think we have some more questions in the chat. Elsa, this one is from Elsa. After the first presentation, my question was about how to have good prompts, but I have the response with the second presentation. Thank you. Okay. We are happy that you got your answer. This one is from Twin Marilyn. Please help me with this. I downloaded ChatGPT and tried to use it, but they demanded a payment method. Is that how it works, or did I get a wrong one?
You probably got the version that is has to be paid, or you should just check. You should check even the way you spelled it. I think you should check Chat AI. Let me see. There are so many tools there, so you should check again. Normally you should download it for free. Normally it works for free, and then now you have different models like the one I showed you that are being paid for. Next one says what? Thank you very much. AI is for creating. Yeah, for the one for creating videos. I hope I answered Marilyn. Is Marilyn right? I hope you got your answer. Randy, that's actually Mr. Reeves' specialty, creating AI videos. So normally he's the one who should tell us which is the best, which is free, and which is least costly. So we'll just wait on him, please.
While waiting for some more questions, Miss Cecile, can you help me in particular with the name of some AI tools that I can use during my work, my day-to-day activity? During the presentation, I've heard about ChatGPT, Meta AI, Claude, or what are some other AI tools, the name of some AI tools that I can freely download and use in my day-to-day activities?
Now, what do you do concretely? Because there are millions of AI tools out there, but it depends on what you do. For me, since I'm more into research and grant writing and all this project writing stuff, there are three main tools that I use: ChatGPT, Claude. I use a lot of Claude, and Perplexity. I use Perplexity a lot for research, articles, and those kind of stuff. It's just as you hear perplexity, like you're perplexed. And then I use Meta AI too. I told you it's good for brainstorming. I mean, it's on WhatsApp. It's just easy. I brainstorm with it, and then I then begin to transfer my knowledge to the other stuff. So the main tools I use for research, and which so far so good, uh, Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Meta AI. There's Gemini too. And recently I discovered that even Google has AI, and it's not bad. It's not
Hello?
bad. Yes. Okay. Reeves is back.
Okay, this is bad. So
I don't know. I don't know at what point I stopped. Please. Where? Hello. Hello.
yes, we can hear you.
I think you stop at the point of the email.
I'm really lost. Email. Wow, that's really far. Man. Well, I'm really sorry, internet connection. Okay.
And please, Reeves, you just try to speed up.
Yeah. Let me try to round up. Let me try to round up. Let me
Okay.
try to round up. Okay, here is AI being used for information processing, basically to summarize documents, extract important information, asking for clarification on specific parts. So here is a list of AI tools, AI websites that can be used for that. There are the AI tools of there's Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and even Gemini itself as well. That you can upload your documents to and ask for explanations, maybe on specific parts, summaries where you find it difficult. I hope my screen is being seen.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Then we have an interesting part: AI used for visuals, presentations, and layout planning. Here is AI basically being used to plan visuals for social media posts, to make slides. So this is maybe to promote your. I saw some people were entrepreneurs. This maybe to using it to promote your business online, promote to share knowledge online, and all of those. So I don't know. Some of you may have seen flyers that look something like this too. These two at the center. I don't know what comes to mind when you see such, but the me being a graphic designer, when I see such, it almost gives me some migraine. Yeah, it comes off as very too compact, a lot of text, the colors. Yeah, the two at the edges may be better, but this one, the image just looks a bit AI generated. Yeah, but what is the nice thing is that you can produce better images with AI using tools like there's ChatGPT, there is Nano Banana, that is Google Gemini, there is Midjourney, though Midjourney is paid, there is Reef, there is Ideogram, Flux, Adobe Firefly, Recraft, and there are many more which you can do from your personal research. Okay, here is another image. All of the images on this slide were generated using AI. You can see how clean they are, not congested. They respect the color themes of the organization, and that is an example of of good prompting to obtain the maybe the right results or appealing results. I'm not sure someone would see these graphics and find them annoying or boring. Yeah, and these images are courtesy Clean Air Initiative Cameroon. So you can use AI to generate such type of images. So this is a case study. So I asked Gemini to come up with an outline for. So this is a carousel for posting maybe on Instagram or Facebook that I generated a 6-page carousel that I generated entirely using AI. That is from the text, from the ideas to the graphics. It was generated entirely using AI. So what I did was I asked Gemini first of all to come out with an outline for the post. So let's see what happened, what I entered as a prompt. I want a prompt, so you can ask if, in case you're finding difficulties prompting, you can ask AI to help you to prompt. Yeah. So I asked AI, I told AI, I want to prompt, I want a prompt to create a 6-page 3x4 carousel that I will paste in ChatGPT alongside a reference carousel style presenting on the ethical use of AI using AI as a Christian. So it this was pasted on Gemini. So Gemini helped me to come up with a prompt that I now went ahead and so now the next step I alongside the reference image from Pinterest. So what I did was scout Pinterest and got some reference images on the type of designs that I wanted. There is the reference image. So what I did was upload the reference image, pasted the prompt that I got, and that is the final result. So this is done entirely with AI under, let's say, under 20 minutes, and you're done with this. So in the age of AI, you don't need to be an expert graphic designer to maybe do some personal projects, personal communication online. while using high quality graphics. This is another case study that I came up with. So here I did the same thing. I asked Gemini to generate the prompts, and I placed it, and pasted it into AI to come up with. Here was the idea was to promote a nail what nail specialist. How do they call it? These ladies, people are the ones that know the name. Okay, here was the idea was to let's just look at the prompts. Act as a professional beauty brand strategist and social media content designer. I'm creating a 4 slide carousel for nail technician promoting her custom made nail designs. Those are image samples that I got from Pinterest, and you can see the results gotten. This is entirely generated using AI. This is entirely generated using AI. Different designs and nice outputs. So those are the various things that those are various ways that you various things that the various results that you can get from AI by simply doing prompting the right way. Okay, so additionally, AI is integrated into the browsers that we use. This is an example of integration into Chrome. When you open Chrome, you're going to see ask Gemini this first. Let me turn on my pointer. This first one permits Gemini to interact with a web page that is open. Maybe you're reading through, you can ask Gemini to summarize what you're reading through, and this enables AI in your browser to give you specific results. I'm sure most of us who have used Google or Chrome have already seen that when you type a Google search, you see some paragraphs of results before seeing the links below. And we have Claude also, which is also integrated into Google Chrome. And here also is these are Google notebooks where you can upload your documents and interact with it using Google. This is Google Notebooks under Google Gemini, where you can interact, upload your documents and interact with it. You see here that we can upload files. We can upload even YouTube web pages. You can load files on your Google Drives, copy text, and all of those. Yeah. I need to be rounding up already. So this is basically a case study using Google Gemini. This is basically what it looks like. We have the various models that we can use depending on the level of detail that you want. Depending on the level of detail, the higher the level of detail, the higher levels of details like Pro are paid. Other levels of details, the higher the level of detail, the higher your consumption. Then we have what are the things that we can upload? We can upload images, videos, text, files, and all of those, and it analyzes them for us. And there's this interesting feature, deep research. Maybe for a student working on a research project, the deep research feature, and most of these AI websites have it, but there is a daily tier, there is a day, it should be a monthly, something like a monthly or daily limit for using it, so you should use that wisely. So what it does is it produces you sometimes it goes even up to 10 pages, detailed documents with clickable references on doing a deep research on a specific topic that you have precised. So deep research comes in handy if you're currently doing it must not necessarily be academic related research work. Yeah. So that was it for the practical uses of AI, and there are more. There is sound generation. In fact, we have come up with a document summarizing some of these fundamental ones where you can explore and from there and explore others. So the thing to remember is that the better your inputs, the better your outputs. I remember Cecile speaking of garbage in, garbage out. So if you tell AI to generate things, that is what they will do. So what you have to do is usually to prompt and then you fine tune. You prompt and then you fine tune. You keep on improve for AI to improve the answer that it has given you. So the thing is AI won't replace your expertise. It only helps to sharpen it. So you must remain the expert. If we notice all the prompts that were given to give an intelligent prompt, it means that you must be someone intelligent first of all. So you must remain the expert and now use AI to sharpen and refine that expertise. Its answers are only as good as the questions that you ask. If you ask dumb things, it will give you, or generic things, it will give you generic answers. And the oversight you provide. So you need to treat AI as a thinking partner. And you always need to, this is a caveat, you always need to treat AI as a thinking partner. It should not replace your brain, it should not replace you. And you need to double check the details, stay authentic, and use it responsibly. Cecile covered on the ethical uses of AI. So thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the break in network, and I hope it was informative enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves, for that practical and insightful presentation. Even though the network wanted to disturb, I am happy that you were able to catch up. Now we are going to go into questions and answers. We already started while waiting for Reeve to rejoin the session. So we will continue with that question and answer session. Reeves, before you came in, where Cecile was mentioning some few AI tools that can be used for specific tasks. She mentioned Gemini, ChatGPT, Meta AI, Perplexity for research. So if you can help us with some other AI tools and their particular work that they do, because someone asked in the chat which AI tools is best for creating videos. So you can just answer that and just include some other AI tools that can be used for specific functions. While others who have questions, you can put it in the chat or you raise your hand and wait that they give you the floor to ask your question. So, Mr. Reeves, which AI is best for creating videos?
Okay. Um, the best AI tools that could be used for creating videos. Amongst them, I'm going to mention CapCut. CapCut is I think it's one of the most accessible mobile tools that we have these days, and a lot of functionalities. Though some of the AI features present there are actually paid, but CapCut can come in handy if you intend to. That's mostly for video editing. Though there are also though there are also though there are also some free features that are quite useful. Yeah, and there are other websites like there's Higgsfield AI. There's Higgsfield AI. I'm not quite sure if he has a free plan or not, but I know that it has you get more functionalities with a paid plan. So it really depends on what is your intention, what is your level of seriousness in what is the final intention, what is your level of seriousness in engaging in creating videos. They call them UGC videos, generated content, UGC videos. There is also CDAMs. So these are all websites that you can note down and check online. There's also CDAMs that you can use to generate videos online. All you can do is you create accounts there, explore the page, the free tier that is provided to you. You explore. If it pleases you, then you can go ahead and maybe subscribe to a paid version. But if you're subscribed, you should be sure that you really have an intention in view, and a final use in view. Yeah. There is also Google AI Video Studio that you can use. Google Gemini is already good at image content. They have stepped in also with video generated content. You can check all of those out. Also, there is also DaVinci AI video generator. So you can check all of those, and there are many more online that you can always check and and exploit. Yeah.
Okay,
Was there another question? In fact, in addition to that, we are going to send a list with some of these AI tools that we put together. Well, that is just a starter. It is not the final. It is not the finality in itself. It's just for you to have a taste, then do your some more personal research and improve on what is there already.
I see Randy asking in the chat to mention the cost of getting these tools. I would like to say that this webinar is not for publicity purposes, or what can I say? It's not for publicity purposes. So mentioning the cost is irrelevant to our session. If you have a question, I think I'm going to give like 3 minutes for that.
I was speaking to my president a week ago. Yes,
If,
thank you so much.
if
Very well. Thank you.
in that 3 minutes, no question, you can just feel free to share with us what your take home message is. Okay, I think there are no further questions. So I would like to sincerely thank the speakers for sharing their knowledge and experience. Thank you to everyone who took our time to participate during this session. We hope that today's discussion has shown that AI is not there to replace us, but it is there to enhance our productivity, as both speakers mentioned during their presentation. So we urge everyone to use it responsibly, ethically, and creatively. We encourage each and every one of you to continue exploring AI tools, make your research, learn further, practice what you've learned from today's session, share your knowledge with others, and do well to stay connected with ISEC Cameroon by following us on our social media platform on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channels, WhatsApp channels, and keep participating in our upcoming programs. So thank you all for being here. Do have a wonderful evening to you all.